Said, what? I said, they taught me how to fold space and stop time. They've taught me how to build everything they're going to give us, the red crystal ship. And I said, we got a ways to go, but they want us to join the council.
We are not waiting for heroes. We are who we've been waiting for. And when the veils finally fall, may you remember you were never powerless. Some truths are whispered, some are buried, and some are remembered. We were never meant to live asleep, never meant to fear our own power, and never meant to forget who we are. They told humanity to look outward for salvation, while the greatest technology in existence was already within us. The mind, the soul, the human spirit. I am Earth Sun, a voice for those who always felt there was more beyond the veil. This is not just another channel. This is a beacon, an awakening, a place where ancient knowledge, hidden truths, consciousness, human potential, and the mysteries of our reality collide. So grab your coffee, question everything, and remember who you are. Because disclosure is not just about what's out there. It's about what's awakening within us. Welcome to Deja Brew, waking you up to truth, one sip at a time.
child, I knew things.
Mhm.
I I knew when people died, and they would come see me. Uh,
Yeah.
and I told stories. I mean, I was, oh gosh, maybe only 5 years old, if that. And uh, my aunt and uncle, had told me later because I had actually forgotten a lot of the details, but they said, you used to tell the most elaborate stories of all these places that you visited, all these countries, and the things that you did and the things that you could do. And you had such a great imagination.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, with all of
Uh-huh.
these pieces coming in, I'm like thinking to myself, that's not imagination, that's my memory.
Yep.
And I pieces are falling into place, the understandings, the things that I have been experiencing, feeling able to do are now starting to make a little more sense. But there was several years ago, it was after that initial visit that my ex-husband and I had. And I'm talking about Scott. So to kind of anchor people here, when we saw the red ship and everything else. But there was a night I thought was a dream. It was not. But I went to what I call the Akashic records of the medical scientific library section. So
Hmm.
the analogy I like to use is like a regular library when you have different sections, whether you have, fiction, nonfiction, and then from there, oh, if it's like the cooking or if it's the,
Yep.
autobiographies or this, well, it's the
Yep.
same type of thing. But in this area, what I saw were what I call knowledge spheres. And it was really interesting. And I don't know if you've ever seen those children's toys that expand and then collapse, that,
Hmm.
okay. So it's something similar to that in its expanded form. And each sphere was a particular subject, or if you think again, a library. So I'm in the scientific medical section of that library, and each knowledge sphere is like a book, okay, on a specific topic. So let's say genetics. Okay. So this knowledge sphere is there. And in this sphere, you have like this three-dimensional, and I'm just saying that for visual, all these little nodes that are connected by these like little information lines, that connect all the nodes. And you can see through it and and the nodes are glowing. And what ended up happening is I was in this knowledge sphere. I was in a node and I would get this download of information and I knew and understood everything in a moment. And then I would zip along these lines and go to another node, have another download. And I would keep doing that until I hit and downloaded all the information from all these information nodes, these knowledge nodes. And then when I was done, then it would move out in front of me and I could see it. And then it would rotate away and another would take its place. And then I would zoom in and I would start getting the downloads and do that. And
Yep.
I actually experienced 3 of these knowledge spheres. And even though they didn't let me consciously remember the details of the information in these
Hmm.
knowledge spheres, I very clearly remember the feeling that I had and what I was thinking. First of all, I thought this is the coolest freaking thing I have ever seen
Yeah.
and experienced. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, this information, we do not know this on Earth yet. We haven't put this information together. Yet it was so logical. It was like, well, of
Yep.
course.
Yep. I have
And
a whole book. I'm an author of several books, and I have a book. It's called
nice.
The Custodians, where I describe them taking me to the libraries and showing
Mhm.
me the holographic books. And it's actually what like the government calls the yellow book
Uh-huh.
technology. Yeah,
It's
it's
amazing. And
holographic books.
right,
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you, it's interesting because um, I was told, like, just this knowing that you'll know the information, it'll come to your consciousness when you need it. And
Yeah.
when when people are ready for it, they're not ready
Hmm.
yet.
Yep.
So, and I find that interesting because in the work that I do, when I had gone back to school and finished that degree after I was medically withdrawn, that I had said at the top of the webinar, we traveled for about 6 months and then I re-enrolled. I finished that last year. And then I went on to get my PhD. And I found that after that visit and when I had gone back to school, getting my PhD, information that I was learning was so understandable. I mean, granted, yes, I studied, um, but I didn't have to study as hard as I used to.
It
I
makes sense.
didn't have to like take the notes and do that. I mean, it was just like, yeah, of course. Yeah, I get this.
Yeah.
It's like, no problem. It's like, okay. you know,
Yeah.
going through the motions. And of course, I'm a very curious person and always wanting to know, what's the mechanism of action here? How is this connected? What does this do? Bridging
Yeah.
the physical, the scientific with the metaphysical, with that the spiritual. And I down to my bones, I've always believed that that is part of what I am here for. So another thing that I had found out when I had this session that I was telling you about, when I found out I was, on a scene with Yeshua, is that these knowledge spheres, I was told that I helped create them, and that I now have to start doing this work more consciously. And, of course, the person I had the session with, she can speak, with guides and angels. And, so they were telling me what I need to do this, that I need to actually, see it, to physically manipulate it, to take these nodes and, and start working with it more, because it is time.
Yeah.
And, people are coming together, and that the knowledge is now ready to be disseminated. So it's
I love that.
it's a bit humbling, a little scary, and very
Yeah.
exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
No,
mean, it's so nice to know and to be introduced and to be able to speak with people like yourself who have had these experiences, who know, uh, because you can't tell just anybody. I think.
yeah.
No, because
Oh,
they
that's,
think
I
you're
know.
crazy.
That's so
You
true.
know what it is? You know what I think it is? And I proved it to myself. It's the people who are not being visited, and they can't stand, they don't even want to believe that someone else can be and be given gifts. And because they don't understand the whole concept of reincarnation, past lives,
Hmm.
paying your bills, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
so that's where you get your shit from. But
Yeah.
what I'm finding right now, and it happened again today with O negative from Philadelphia. Um, what I didn't tell you is that Zoom call from the Israelis who called in their favor got told, I'm not going anywhere. I got 3 cases. What are they, sir? They are at the museum. 2 bodies, Karen Wilson, Colin Gillis, both hidden by New York State Police. Okay, Scott, we understand. We know you're honest. We'll see you later. I said, Scott, I've got to go. Now, I don't know if Laura, she was making French toast. She's a good breakfast cooker. And then he said, she's gonna send you a list. I assumed they'd be photographs. I have this thing about facial recognition. So it comes in. I'm looking at it. I said, Laura, what the fuck's an enlightened? I think right. I'm right, Laura, because I talk that way. She gets her computer out. She punches it in. She says, "Oh my God, look who's on the list." I said, "Well, that can't be me," but it is. Who's on the list of enlightened people and what are their gifts? They can tell a lie when it's spoken or written,
Yeah. I call us energy readers.
right? Except the fact that all these reincarnations who bring the gifts,
Hmm.
okay, they're all past lives. In other words, they came here for this specific reason to
Oh,
try
yeah.
to try to convince enough people to raise their vibrations so the entire
Yeah.
planet can go to 5D.
Right. Yeah.
But what they said to me, that they said to Medvedev, which the Russians wrote in the book, what is the matter with you people? Every gift we give you, you try to weaponize. You want to control the world, you're the only planet in the universe that war against their own kind. Nice,
Well,
nice, yeah,
we're not
nice.
the only ones because reptilians do that too. But
No, well, yeah, but there are several different types of reptilians. I know, I've met them.
that's true. That's true
The
because
the the
I've seen
the
the
what?
list that the NSA has.
Right? Okay, but the bad ones, I ran into one.
Yeah.
He
So have I.
shape shifted
Yeah.
into the other seat, into a reptilian, and it's something you can't forget.
Yeah. Oh
Then
no.
almost hit a building, drove into the ditch, and finally got out of the ditch and left.
Yeah.
But
I think out of all of the alien species I've ever heard of throughout my life from other people, reptilians was the one that I was really hell bent that I didn't want to be real.
mhm.
And when I finally saw one, I was like, shit.
Yeah, but I have met I have
No, thank
I
you.
don't know about Lala.
Yeah.
I've met over 200 aliens so far. I don't
Yeah.
know how many Laura's met because she's been taken together with me, and but we both have been taken separate.
Yeah.
I, I,
Actually, that's something I wanted to ask both of you too.
Mhm.
Um, what species, if any, sticks out to you the most, or star system of beings or anything like that? Do you feel connected to like Pleiadians, Arcturians, Andromeda, anything like that? Is there any of that kind of a vibe going on with you all, or is it just, a whole?
Okay.
Pleiadians for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
me, for me, the ones who took the DNA sample at Clarkson, they were clean shaven, basically. What do you call those guys who run around the forest there?
Bigfoot.
Wookiees, or whatever.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah. Except these guys were in surgical gear with glasses, with
Hmm.
the silver oblong rod. Before they sent me back, they were laughing at me because they knew what I was thinking,
Okay.
and that's why I had to have the surgery and everything. But the whole
So
point
is that
is
the
that
ones that you're the most connected with?
no, what I'm saying is that's the only ones I've seen different. I saw the reptilian that one day was the next day coming back from Walmart,
But
but
do
but
you have
all
any kind of like pull or draw or like
yeah,
an
they look just
attachment
like
to
they
any
just.
particular type of aliens or their star system?
I know for a fact Laura and I have been taken together when they look just like us, except
Hmm.
the only way to describe them is they're in perfect shape and they are drop dead gorgeous male and female.
That's got
Another,
to be the
another
Pleiadians. Yeah.
okay. So all I know is what happened one night. We were followed on this trip by a team out of the whatever, 5 vehicles. Why? Well, too many things went too easy. Like since when do you get when you get approaching down in Texas by a border checkpoint, they just wave you through. That's because they were radioed and told to. So
Right.
so we went to her parents. We stayed a little while. We went to we spent what, a week at least up at maybe longer up at the Grand
Grand
Canyon.
Canyon.
When we got there, it was later. Now we both have passes where we don't have to pay for national parks or camping, and because of the disability, and I knew that they were following us. So where we parked our Suburban, which we had made up to sleep in, we had an electric fridge and all that stuff. I walked down to the road, and of course the leader knew it. So we stopped. I said, "Are you satisfied, guys?" I said, "I know you've been following me." He said, "Scott, we have to." I said, "Good." So basically, all the rest of them, they were very nice to me. And so we go to bed. Next thing I know, both of us are taken on a ship. These guys, they were gorgeous, except why they were wearing Scottish plaid, I don't know. But they were. So Laura, the guy greeted Laura, and she went to my left, and the women took me to the right. But what I'm saying is, for me, except for the DNA sample, and except for that one reptilian, everyone has looked just like us. And what I found out that in the past, when they've had pole shifts, before that they've had an ascension.
Yeah.
Now, okay,
It's
why do you think?
cyclical. Cyclical.
Right, and so why did they? And because not every time the system gets that close to Earth where it wrecks things,
Right.
but we're on the cycle where this one's going to. However,
Well, it's not going to. That's actually a choice that I was told.
right, you're
It
right.
depends on how much humanity wants to level up in their consciousness. That's what determines it.
That's right. So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I talk to people in my industry all over the world, and every day someone
Yeah.
calls. Okay, I have a friend who's an author like you, Nancy Tuturi, an experiencer, a lawyer. She is still an attorney. Second marriage, she married a French intelligence agent. Okay, who basically works for Interpol and arranged a whole bunch of things for me to help me in my work. Okay, but what
Hmm.
I'm saying is, Dolores Cannon's book, Three Ways of Volunteers in a New Earth.
Hmm.
Either you decide to go and you want to raise your vibration, or you don't. But that movie on HBO, The Leftovers or Left Behinds,
Hmm.
that's in your face. They knew this. Okay.
So that actually, I want to get your clear opinion on this, actually, both of your opinions on this. So for me, Dolores Cannon was not something I knew about until I was almost 40 years old. I just always knew that I was here, that I was a volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anybody knew about us. You know, when I
Mm-hmm.
found her, I was completely ecstatic. So then when I started reading that book that talks about the new earth, I'm like, okay, but is it a physical new earth or is it a timeline shift? Where we're splitting the timelines. And the ones that choose to level up and raise their vibration just end up in another timeline because since
Well,
the
it's
gravity,
another
since
dimension of
gravity,
vibration. 5D.
right,
5D.
right,
Okay.
because since gravity is what governs each dimension, if we're raising our vibration, then it makes sense to me that scientifically we would just automatically be in another density of 5D, right? To where they're no longer, they're still over here on this different Earth. So
Mhm.
my question to you is, do you think that the people that are still going to be in 3D Earth are the ones that experience the cataclysm full on?
Yes, I do.
How do you think that plays out?
Well, just like Dolores said, they'll think they died the most horrible death, wake up on a hospital planet, and when and only when their souls are rehabilitated will they be able to join us on the 5D New Earth.
Okay, so you think that they'll experience the full on cataclysm then, and from there
Oh,
forward,
I think there's a greater possibility now more than ever that they will. But my heart and my hopes, just like Laura's, is that enough people get awoken to reach
yeah,
the 8% plus one, and then everybody goes because,
to 5D. Yeah, me too. Me too.
okay, wait a minute.
That's why I'm asking you all this, because from
Yeah,
this is like the think tank part of the
yeah.
interview, because I'm still looking for ways to try to help everybody to wake up, or at least the majority, right? To save as many people as we can,
You know
because
how
that's
you were doing it there?
heart-wrenching to me. I
It's
mean,
these
we
programs.
Absolutely.
It's
every
what we're
single
doing. It's what we're doing right now, getting it out to the public. Because I've had two with Aggie Nost, Bill Owens, and then this other guy, the very first one.
yeah,
Everybody says, I think you watched it. You were interviewed by him too. You told me. Who was it?
Augie. I do shows with Augie all the time.
Yeah, no, no Aggie. This other guy, Bill Mara,
Jeff Mara.
Jeff Mara. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now
Yeah.
that was a good interview. He knows how to ask the right questions and everything.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
s-
But
so
what I was saying about that is that we each individually know people in our own personal life that just absolutely refuses to take their head out of the sand and wake up,
Right. And
out
this
of their
right?
is
ass, really.
this is where I think that we need to hold compassion. We need to hold that space of a higher vibration of love and joy, not so much trying to convince them, but holding it within ourselves. So the vibrations that when they are in our presence or even in our prayers, because obviously, distance is not an issue in that respect, but that we can continue with ourselves, first within ourselves, so that we can help bring their vibrations up. Now, obviously, you can't make anyone do anything they don't want.
Yeah.
That's where the
Free.
free will comes in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I still think that when we are the example, when we behave a certain way, treat others a certain way, have that and exude that love, that compassion, that space to listen to them, that helps. It's like planting a seed and
Yeah.
helping to water it. And
Yeah.
with more of us coming together and realizing, hey, we are not alone in this. As we come together, that frequency gets stronger. And this is where I think that together we can start raising the vibrations, raising the frequency of more people, tipping those people on the edge, on that fence, not really knowing, into that higher frequency, and make them more curious to ask questions and have them want to do it themselves. So
But it takes more than just 10 people. It
there
takes
are a lot
people.
more than 10 people. I have met
I know, but
way
what
more
I'm
than
saying,
that.
all over the
Yeah.
world, though, Laura, I worry about more about the third world people, where the kids are
Well,
starving to death.
You'd be surprised at
yeah.
the joy and love and that they have.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know
It's
they do, but
And
those are
I
the ones who are at the bottom. What about the ones who
I
are
don't, I
taking?
mean, they might be at the bottom as far as poverty goes, but they're not at the bottom where spirituality is.
I
right.
Because
know,
I have
no,
international clients,
Mhm.
and some of
Me
the
too.
most beautifully enlightened people I know, spiritually connected people, do not live in America.
oh, I agree
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that you're right. It's just like the happiest times in my life when I was doing paving stone. Why? I was working with common men. I was
Right.
creating something. Okay.
Right.
Well, a lot of these people, what do they have in their countries? Why do their kids starve to death? You know how much? I posted how much the world spends on defense. I gave it to you. You said you're right. It's insanity.
It is. It's absolute insanity.
Okay, so what is the
But
problem?
those are the things that we will change as we level up. That will change. That stuff that the energy of will transmute. So those are things, in my opinion, that's not the stuff that we need to focus our energy on right now, because that's stuff that will naturally be transmuted as
Mhm.
Yeah,
we move forward.
Yeah,
as a
because
result.
that kind of suffering, the fear, the pain does not exist at that level of frequency of
Right.
love, of joy. It just doesn't.
Right.
So it won't exist.
Right. And there will be plenty for everyone
Mhm.
as we move forward, because free energy will start coming out. All of the technologies will start rolling out for us, including wonderful things like med beds and stuff like that. But I will admit that with me being very passionate about teaching people their own innate power and ability to heal
Right.
themselves and to do things, the med bed thing is a little worrisome for me, because I feel like it could very easily become that easy button where they just go use
Yes.
the med bed instead of doing the inner work, and we need
Yes.
both.
Yeah. And I think it provides that opportunity of people, again, looking outside of themselves for the answers, for the healing. And it really comes from within. Like you said, there is a place for it, just like there is a place for allopathic medicine, for Western medicine.
Yeah.
Great for acute injuries. I mean, car accident, okay,
Yes,
gunshots,
exactly.
anything
Right.
like that. Yes, there's a place for it. But when it comes to more prevention, other types of healing, uh, that comes really from within. I mean, to be perfectly honest, because I'm not going to discount the self healing ability in acute situations.
Right.
I mean, look at Dolores Cannon's books. How many times during sessions, broken bones being healed, cancer
Yeah.
being healed, all of these things. So that is not without, outside of the realm of possibility.
Right.
But
Right.
I think that the med beds could be a good transition for people moving into embracing their own self healing powers.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's still that, possibility, of the reliance, too much of the reliance on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I think if they have like the whole mind, body, soul therapeutic
Hmm.
modality going in with the med bed stuff, that, that's a really beautiful thing. And then you're right.
It's
There's
just a
some people that
tool.
are at this extreme level of need for healing, that we can put them
Mhm.
in the med bed and it can get them on track. And then from there they go into the therapies to learn how to go
Right,
within it and to maintain it, so that it doesn't become a band-aid, it becomes a permanent healing.
right.
Because even with energy healing, and I'm sure you understand this
Mhm.
being a Reiki master, that we can heal someone. I can heal a broken bone. I can even
Mhm.
heal a heart, right? An unhealthy heart. But if you're not changing your thoughts, your
Mhm.
patterns of behavior, your
Right,
lifestyle, then I'm just a band-aid.
right. Or even dealing with the deeper traumas. The
Right, right.
issues are in the tissues.
That's right.
And, if they haven't reconciled the work that they have come to this earth plane for, it's going to keep coming back because that's the lesson they have set up for themselves.
Right.
And I am not here to take away someone's opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve for
Right.
themselves. I can help facilitate. I can be a guide. I can, be that cheerleader.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take anyone's innate ability away from them. I don't want to remove their agency. If anything, I'm
Right.
really trying to educate people to take their agency back and to
Yeah.
embrace the power that they have from within, that spark of God's source, you know, fan the flames and get it,
Right.
let it
Right.
burn brighter. Um,
Right.
and that it is within everyone. It's,
Yeah.
it's just unfortunately latent in many people, but it's always
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I think for me, a little bit of my, I won't say it's an insecurity, but maybe a fence that I ride sometimes. Because I want to heal people. I'm a Cancerian, so I naturally want to nurture and heal and fix everything, right?
Right.
But and I have clients who simply come to me to get the healing, and they don't want any further type of learning. They just
Right.
don't want it, right? And free will, you got to respect that, right? But at the same time, I don't want to be just a band-aid.
Eh,
So
Precisely.
so it's a little bit like I have to put my personal feelings aside sometimes,
Mhm.
because I really want more for them. But if they don't want more for them, I have to be able to respect that
Right.
and
Exactly.
just do what I can do. And that really like breaks my heart for people sometimes. Yeah.
But we also have to leave some of that up to God in the fact that we could be only seeing them just want that one time information fix and to move on. But maybe that in itself was a seed that's planted that
I was
later
just here.
on,
Was just here
yes,
when you were saying, like, sometimes I'm not meant to be the fixer, just the seed planter,
exactly.
the one and done.
Or even something like a bird picking up a seed that will then drop it and for it
Yeah,
to be fertilized elsewhere, that maybe they will tell someone else,
yeah,
hey, I did this, it worked and it was fine. And maybe that was just their part, but it incited others, friends of theirs, someone heard it and they
ripple
then
effect.
exactly want to know
Yeah,
more to, their curiosity gets piqued. And so they move forward. I mean, it's that butterfly effect. You just never know. Um, and that this is where we don't have to know. I mean, it's nice.
right,
It's nice that the work
right. I
that we
know.
do is actually, doing something.
Yeah,
But there's many times that I just have to, give it up to source. And it's like, whatever you
let
got
go and let
planned,
God.
it's like I'll just keep doing my work, keep,
Yep.
leading those who ask for help and who want it, even if they're not my own family. And that gets
Hmm.
really tough when you see them
Yeah.
suffering or when you know how to help them, but
Yeah.
I'm
But they
not
don't
going
want
to
to come to you.
push. Yeah, I'm not going to push myself. And
Yeah.
and this is where I go back to saying we need to be the example.
Yeah.
Be the example within ourselves and then also those that we help. And just keep praying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Because it seems like 9 times out of 10, our family, the people that we're closest to, we're not going to be their teachers. We might be the example and we might
mhm,
be the one that holds space. And eventually we might be the one that they come to ask questions, but we're not meant to be their teacher. And
right.
that was really hard for me too, because, your family, you love them, right?
Of
You love
course.
I mean, we love all people, but we love our family more. That's
Right.
just how it is. And so we want better for them also. And when I was younger, it was like probably my early 30s, it was really hard for me that I could be so aware of the powerful healing that I could offer to people that were total strangers,
Mhm,
but people who were in my own family wouldn't allow the same gift, the same reception. And it would really
right.
break my heart. It was so hard for me to learn to let go and let God.
Mhm.
It was a hard, hard lesson for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
We lost Scott. Where did he go?
I have no idea.
He
I
just
know he's
dropped
he's
off
on
all of
the
a
other
sudden.
side of the continent right now. No, I mean
Oh.
he's in Massachusetts. I'm in Arizona. I live in Arizona.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. I love Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to get up to Sedona. I haven't been up there in a while.
Yes. I would love to see
Mm.
myself move somewhere near Sedona.
Great vortexes and energy there for
I
sure.
know that energy's so strong there. Yeah. I'm in Indiana right
Okay,
now.
now here we
Oh,
go.
nice.
Hey,
Here you
hello.
are.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I want to read you this, and
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why.
Your camera's off.
Okay, but let me read you this. I got to pull it up. It's a
Okay.
quote. It's a quote from a bum named Osho who was visited by the council. Here's what he says. It's a quote out of the Book of Wisdom. The soul, but none like other phrase in the Book of Wisdom refers to the soul of the righteous or just person, specifically those, plural, who are in God's hand. These individuals are said to be in peace despite their temporary earthly suffering and are ultimately rewarded with immortality. You know what immortality is? It's when, because they demonstrated it to me. I got taken up one night alone on this most beautiful ship. The walls were white quartz that provided the light. Or, I say quartz. That's the only thing I could describe it like. There was a stainless steel railing down the middle, a stainless steel table, two chairs. The guy who greeted me at the door, if you want to call it that, basically, he kind of looked like Yoda, except he was about a billion years older. At first, I was, to be honest with you, uh, a little maybe afraid or amazed or whatever. He takes me by the hand, gentle. He's got the hood over his face and everything, brown. He brings me to the table. He pulls out my chair. I sit down. He goes sits the other side. This man and woman who looked just like us came out of the other room. He was carrying a tray. In the tray, there was the things to give an injection. She rolled up his left sleeve. Now, when I say wrinkled skin, you don't know what wrinkled skin. Okay, She cleaned it, with the alcohol or whatever they used. She injected him. As I watched in front of me, he reversed age and turned into a young man. Now,
Right.
yeah, I mean, like to the point where I'm sitting there going, holy fuck, like that. You know what I mean? I mean, to see a body go from something that you've never seen any this old to a
Right.
handsome, okay, that is the gift that we will receive for doing our job, whether we succeed in convincing enough people to join us in 5D or not, it doesn't make any difference because we have already earned the right. This isn't our
Yeah.
first, okay? And
Yeah. I
so,
mean, I think that's one of the things that the majority of starseeds understand is that they don't have to come back here. You know,
right, okay, good.
um,
That's what I have to
yeah, a
say.
lot of the starseeds that have come to me, they all have that very strong understanding that they don't have to come back here. And for me personally, I remember as a child when I was really struggling with being here in this energy on Earth and wanted to go back and change my mind. My family would take me and show me my body that was in stasis that I would be put back into when I'm done here. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, "See, it's still here. You're still gonna get your life back. It's gonna be okay." You know, because I was really just like, I messed up. I want to go back. Even like my brother and I, when we were learning what abilities are, what our abilities are, and what we can really do, we would put our abilities together, go outside, take a notebook, and do the scientific method. Like we would test it, write it
Mhm.
down. What kind of
Nice.
stuff worked, what kind of stuff didn't, what other factors were there. You know, we really needed to understand what's making us tick. So my
Wow.
mind is always asking questions. I always need to understand what the heck is
That's
going on.
that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. So this has been a really interesting conversation. I would actually like to have both of you back individually so that I can pick your brains more without
That
having to
would be
share time
wonderful.
back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am. Hey, I got to remind you of something. When
Okay.
I told her about you, Laura, and she said, boy, I think we'd really hit it off and get together because you both are on that same plane. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, my expertise is basically, and you'll find out, is solving unsolved cases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's kind of my jam too, because I was one of the researchers that helped come up with where the children are being hidden in tunnels and things like that. And I've helped do a lot of research with my remote viewing and different things to
Mhm.
find children in the tunnels and in the dumbs so
Okay.
that they could
Now,
help rescue them.
I was told to ask you this by Nancy Tuturi. Now, she's
Okay.
the one who was former CIA.
Yeah.
She developed the remote viewing.
Uh-huh.
She's got 3 books out. She sent them to me. I'm still trying to finish mine. And but I told her about you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I think that you should also have a conversation with her
I would love to.
because
Yeah.
we're all on the same dial.
Yeah.
What I'm okay. In other words, we've all been visited. We've
Yeah.
all had things that we understand and things that we wish we understood even more. But
Mhm.
we all have our expertise,
Right. Yeah, everybody's got a piece to the puzzle.
right?
Mhm.
And us
And
coming together collectively makes this really big, beautiful picture.
picture,
Doesn't
and
it?
and
Yes.
that's the way. If we can pull it off,
Yeah.
that's the way we can solve the world's problem.
That's right. Yeah. That's
Because
interesting that she does remote viewing too, because like I do a Sunday show. Actually, we have to shoot we're going to film tonight for my Sunday show called Beyond the Veil. But I taught my students how to do remote viewing by teaching them how to be tuned into their clairvoyance,
okay, and
their
Nice.
their
they taught me,
clairaudience. You know.
and it happened. It's happened 3 times to me. It happened the other night, um, where I can open a portal and go into another dimension.
Hmm. Yeah.
Scary at first. The first time, it was very scary because
Yeah.
when I put my hands through it, my hands disappeared, and I'm thinking, "Am I ever going to be able to come back?" And I just said, "Well, what difference does it make?"
Yeah, my brother and I, we dabbled with portals and opening them up, and I was actually the one when Skinwalker Ranch first started,
Yeah.
the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. They had a members only meeting that they would do, Zoom meeting, and I was in those meetings, and I was the one that told them to use the 1.6 hertz to open up that portal to call in the UFO to have the UFO show up, and
Hmm.
Travis Taylor was like, "How the hell does she know that?" And I also knew that he was a physicist that worked with NASA, and apparently nobody else Skinwalker Ranch knew that yet, and I kind of doxed him and didn't mean to. So,
Oops.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I know what you mean. But
I
as
just
Laura,
assumed they knew since they work with him. I mean,
yeah, you
Right.
do, but no, no, and that's why he said to me at that meeting, they only tell us what we need to do our job,
yeah,
and that's the truth. They keep you compartmentalized that
yeah,
way.
I
You,
know.
you, okay, but the
Because my
thing
dad
is,
was in that stuff. That's
yeah,
that's how I got drug into the GATE program as a kid because my dad was
hmm
a contract worker for CIA stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Well, Kelly, I'll tell you, I really appreciate you having me on, having us on.
I
And I
told you,
just want to
Laura.
say thank you very much. And I very much look forward to speaking with you again.
great. I do too. I mean, I'm really just over the moon with all the things that we have in common. Um,
Yes.
I'd reached out to Scott and I'm like, I would love to interview you because I saw him on something else. And
Mhm.
he's like, oh, you need to talk to Laura too. And I'm like, okay. And then I started watching some of your stuff on YouTube and I'm like, oh, wow, I really do need to talk to her. Like,
Oh,
this is right up my passionate alley,
oh, wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm your newest subscriber.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I've been with the DNA company about 3.5 years now. And, being one of their podcast hosts and doing, our webinars,
Yeah.
our informational webinars, and also, I mean, not just for public, but also as dean of the DNA University, we have our genomics and practice webinars, which gets a lot more clinical. It gets a lot
Right.
deeper into the weeds of the genes, the pathways, the functional pathways, the insights. And they are free during the live sessions, which are the second and fourth Thursdays of every month. General public can
Okay.
sit in on them, but replays are inside the DNA University for students only. So
Okay.
if you want to totally nerd out on
Oh my God.
on this stuff,
I'm like a kid in a candy
Yeah.
shop. I'm totally going to be watching that.
oh,
Because I
fantastic!
love understanding I think the more that I can understand the science behind
Yes.
what
Mhm.
we do, the better I can teach it to other people, you
And
know?
that's exactly where I fall. And it's like I knew, but didn't really know that I knew back when I was doing it and getting the degrees, because we do need that bridge. There are still so many people that are like, "Oh, I'm not going to really believe them unless they have the credentials and the letters behind their name."
Yeah, it
And
feels woo woo.
oh, how yeah, it's like, "Oh, that's too woo woo. That's not real science." But when
Yeah,
you get someone who's a PhD who does like the science of it, but then also can believe and work within the woo woo, all of a sudden their minds are like blown. They're like, wait, how can you do both at the same time? And it's like, oh, very easily. it's
I
it's
know.
there is
That's why I'm
so
like,
much science in the woo woo. It's just a lot of it we don't either have the full understanding for, at least in general population, or we don't have the instruments to do the measurements or know
right.
how to actually collect the data. But it is very scientific.
Yeah,
Okay,
So
I know.
what about the fact? Because you mentioned this earlier. I know for a fact. I've got it in writing. They told me this. They told Majeevec this. You can find it in the book, and she's inbound. The source for our universes is feminine. It's Sophia.
Yep.
Okay, so you know everything about that.
Yeah.
Now,
Her name is Wisdom,
right. Now, she's
like your book.
incarnated. Yeah, she incarnated so many times, but the
Yeah.
whole point is,
Ashura.
yeah, but the thing is,
Hmm.
she supposedly, Three Eye Atlas, think about
Yeah,
third eye Atlantis.
exactly. Like
Okay,
everybody had that correlation within my 6 degrees. And my
right.
group actually remote viewed 3-Eye Atlas too.
Okay. So it's split apart,
Yeah.
and they gave us the GPS coordinates where they're both going to land. I was told that people are going to be given a choice. We are already, regardless of anything, going to 5D.
Yeah.
Okay. However, what she's going to offer is that anybody else who wants to go to 5D, it'll work out. If you don't, you're here for the catastrophe, the leftovers.
Right.
So for some reason, when the first time the ship came by, we got a message that says they're not ready to meet us yet. I have two grandkids that are visited. They were both visited with me. Okay.
Yeah.
The
It
only
runs in
grand.
bloodlines.
Okay, but how come Jace knew about the visits? He's the one who showed me the video of his son being visited. Yet you don't even want to talk about anything.
Jace is
just,
his son.
just because he doesn't want to talk about it doesn't mean that it hasn't happened to him. He's just not ready to remember. And maybe that's his role in all of this. Maybe he
Uh,
agreed to come here, have the experiences, but refused to acknowledge them so that some other type of thing could happen. We
okay,
all have
now,
our role,
right
right?
now, I see. I was the only one in my family Rh negative.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't nurse.
I'm the only one in my
My
family that
state.
has A blood type.
Okay,
I'm A
well,
plus too.
Are you?
Yeah.
yeah, she is. Now get this
Yeah.
though. On the writings that they gave me,
Hmm.
A plus is necessary.
Yeah.
And when I look at and listen to you, when I look and spent 30 years with that other one there, Laura.
The other one.
Okay, no, but
The
what
other
I'm
Thanks.
saying,
Pleiadian.
no,
Yes, thank
wait a
you.
minute, wait a minute. Both of you might as well be twins in the way that your experiences are, the way you talk about your work and everything. That's
Yeah.
why I said the other one. And that's why when I first listened to you, I said to you, you got to meet Laura.
Yeah. And
Okay,
that's why I said the other Pleiadian, because I feel
yep,
like
Mhm.
that's something that just happens with our star families, right?
Mhm.
We just are on that level, that plane, right? And
that vibration, a
yeah,
frequency.
yeah. I mean, she's my soul family, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
so 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 they taught both Laura and I think I can speak for you on this one, Laura, that we are immortal spiritual beings. How?
Yeah.
I can remember the night they taught me. We were living in that same house. It was a huge upstairs bedroom. She had her office set up there. And this is after we had both been taken a couple times together and alone. So I'm laying in bed trying to figure out everything. The next thing I know, I'm physically up on the ship. People look just like you and I. And we're talking and everything. And, like I knew them all my life. Then all of a sudden, the next thing I know, I'm bouncing off the bed. Laura turns around. She goes, "Where'd you go?" I started to tell her, and she said, "It's like you fell asleep." They took me ethereally. So I get back
Hmm.
up in the ship and I see them, I can feel them, I can sense them and everything. And all of a sudden, I look, I don't have a hand, I don't have legs.
Hmm.
And then I hear, "Because you're an immortal spiritual being,
Hmm.
go back to bed." Boom. And so I go back, and Laura says, "Where'd you go?" And I explained it to her. Now, I know they did the same thing to her because she told me her experience. I don't remember when it was. But we were being visited every single friggin' night. I can't take a walk day or night with the dogs without having a ship. I'll send you the picture of that cloaks.
Yeah.
When I lived in Rutland, I had to have Secret Service protection.
Yeah. I think they watch us pretty closely because they're helping to protect us from bad actors.
True, but they also don't want another country because the Jews tried it at first. My
Yeah.
class reunion, it was the Russians. He's in a mental institution at DC. From my hometown, he was on the Russian desk. Why did he approach me when I was all alone and make me an offer?
Right.
Okay, so then Laura comes home from learning how to teach. She didn't tell you she's a certified teacher for high school and for elementary. So
You didn't brag about yourself enough yet, Laura?
no, I brag about her more than she does. So but when we got hurt there, she was the director of education at Sunmount.
I'm an
But this,
academic masochist.
yes.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, but I got two law degrees. She got one. But the thing is, she, like her work at Clarkson. I mean, her what you do get at Potsdam State. How many 4.0s did you get? Pre-med, chemistry, biochemistry, and something else. There were four of them. Plus,
Yes.
plus she was a lab director for Foudy, and so
In a
she,
biophysical chemistry lab. I
right,
managed it.
yeah.
Overachiever.
You think she was an
Yeah.
overachiever? You ought to
Trying to overcompensate for something.
see
It's
her
okay. You're
her
definitely right up my alley.
her dissertation,
I'm the same
and you
way.
ought to see, the work that she did at Clarkson. Hey, Laura,
Hmm.
how many years in a row did you get the Oscar equivalent in the American
Oh,
Chemical Society?
American Chemical Society. That was
Six.
two. No, no.
I said, wait a
It
minute.
was like
I got a picture. You showed me
I
them.
got five of them, but it was only 2 years in a row. Because one year I got two, the other one I got three. Well, and it wasn't
I,
just me. It was like our group.
Yeah.
Wow.
So American Chemical Society, which is like the largest chemistry related society. And so they have the Chem Luminary Awards, which are like the Oscars. That's what he was, referring to for that thing. So I had helped create a younger chemists society with a girlfriend of mine, another grad student. And the work that we did, I wrote grants, got those funded. We did, a lot of different educational advancements. We partnered with 5 other younger chemists committee groups from other universities along the East Coast and created a lot of initiatives, did a lot of different things. It really was a group effort. It certainly was not me by myself. So we ended up getting 5 awards over 2 years.
That's
So,
amazing.
And then
Wow.
after the visits, the CIA, who funds National Science Foundation, awarded
yeah.
come on, tell her.
Okay,
tell her.
so okay, so my first 2 years in grad school, I was a teaching. I had a teaching assistantship. They actually let me choose the course that I wanted to teach because normally when a grad student comes in for a teaching assistantship, they're just told, okay, hey, you're going to be TAing, Chem 101, Bio 101, or some of these lower level courses. Well, I was in my late 40s. Well, I was 47. Okay, when I started grad school. And I was already a certified teacher. I already had decades of experience. I was older than 2 of my advisors. And I had already taken a course under Dr. Lufkin, who was the head of the department and chair of the grad program that I was in. And so when I got in there, they're like, what course would you like to teach? And I'm like, ooh, I said, I want to teach anatomy and physiology, which is a 400 and 500 level course. And I will say that there was some selfishness in there because I wanted to understand the human body even more. And the best way to really know something is to teach it. So yeah, I actually would teach the classes, the lectures when the professor was gone. I helped to rewrite the curriculum for the labs. And what was really nice is that because we have a health sciences department with grad students for occupational therapy, physicians, physical therapy, physician's assistant, programs. Okay, we had a cadaver lab.
Oh wow.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
we taught it.
And normally
scalpel here.
Undergrads do not get, because like I said, it was a 400 and 500 level class. So I had undergrads and graduate students, but normally they do not get to work on cadavers. So this was a fantastic, very unique experience for them. And it was great for me because for people who go to med school, they only work on a cadaver for 1 semester and they only get to work on 1. Here, I got to work on them for over 2 years and I got to work with over 30 cadavers because I actually got to go in and do some dissecting and then, and teach and create these. And I also helped work with the grad students, the OTs, PTs, PAs. And it was just amazing. And also working in the diagnostic lab where I got to work with and teach how to use an EEG, EKG, so many different types of instruments that, being able to use to test for diagnostics. So it was amazing, but I did that for the first 2 years. Then I applied, I wrote it wasn't really a grant. It was a proposal, a research proposal, and submitted it to the National Science Foundation to get a graduate research fellowship. Now, when these are done every year, thousands of people apply to get a National Science Foundation fellowship. And only, oh gosh, I don't remember exactly how many, but I'd say less than 100. And I'm talking like tens of thousands of people, thousands.
Your year 123, I read.
Okay. So anyway, I applied, I won. So I got my last 3 years were actually covered and paid for through the National Science Foundation for that fellowship. So I didn't teach anymore because the majority of my time I had to finish up with my courses, but I really spent the majority of the time doing research, and I worked in 3 different labs. two in the biology department, one that worked more at the subcellular genetic level. The other one worked more at the cellular materials interface, more at, again, zooming out, going from that subcellular now to cellular. And then the third one was in the biomedical engineering department. Well, it actually was like the aeronautical engineering, but they've shifted to biomedical engineering. And that really was more at that macro level. So I worked in 3 different labs on this project that I created. And it was focusing on degenerative disc disease, back pain, and intradiscal injection, basically regenerative strategies for back pain. And obviously I had very intimate knowledge of how that was, which was kind of the whole
from both ends of it.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
They paid her $34,000 a year. And we moved to a different place where I built a 1,000 square foot greenhouse.
It was 700 square foot greenhouse out of mostly reclaimed materials.
Yeah.
Nice.
And but everything was automatic, including LED lighting, venting, heating, watering, everything. But we also had 8 gardens. And so
very nice.
We ate
organic food and
I love
butcher
that.
blocks in our neighborhood.
I'm all about homesteading and living off the land.
Oh boy.
I hate to cut you short though. I need to go ahead and go because I have that other show to shoot in an hour and a half, and I need to feed my children their supper before that happens.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Definitely get back with me on scheduling so that we can do this some more and do this in depth.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay,
all right.
Have a great evening,
Kelly.
you guys.
You too.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I told you.
Thank you.